It's my time now to shine. I've been in the dog for the 4 years that I've been pro. But, it's my time to step out and be that middleweight of the 90s.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blood coming at you with another video. I had 2 letters from 2 different people who wrote me and asked me a little bit about Lamar Kid Fire Parks. The reason why I featured him in my latest video, Bernard Hopkins Middleweight Supremacy Part 2, is because I wanted to give y'all my perspective as a fan, okay? And during that time period, my favorite middleweight was Lamar Kid Fire Parks, hands down. They always showed his fights on Tuesday Night Fights. And he had it all, man. He had really fast hands, knockout power. He lost the fight to Reggie Johnson, but like I said, do your research on Reggie Johnson. I was hoping for him to get that rematch. And not only that, but he was scheduled to fight Gerald McClellan. I was waiting on that fucking fight because I was a fanboy of Lamar Kid Fire Parks. I was a Kid Fire Parks fanboy. A lot of it had to do with imagery because, you know, he'd have like jewelry on and shit, and had the hairstyle that me and all my homeboys had, same kind of shit, around the same age range, younger. He around 4 years older than me, but same era, man. And man, I wanted to see him fight McClellan. I was pulling for him. I also wanted to see him mix it up with Roy Jones, James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, all of them. But all I can remember is, like, while I was waiting on the fight, it didn't happen because Gerald McClellan ended up fighting another fight. He was supposed to fight him towards the beginning of the year in 1994. I think it was Gilbert Baptiste he ended up fighting instead. I remember thinking at the time, like, shit, why isn't he fighting Lamar Parks? So I was really confused because I had not heard about the diagnosis with the HIV and all of that. I hadn't heard anything about that. Finally, one day I just read about it in the magazine. I read about it in the magazine or something, that he had a positive diagnosis of HIV. So that was it. And I hadn't heard about him for years, man. For years I hadn't heard of him. Recently I was looking on YouTube, man, and I seen Lamar Kid Fire Parks, man, just as of recent, within the last few years. And he's alive and well, man. He's doing good. While I'm here, I want to talk about my Bernard Hopkins Middleweight Supremacy Part 2 video. There was a mistake that was made at the very end of the video. And the reason why I made the mistake is because I was just trying to wrap it up and I didn't really want to get into Bernard Hopkins' career yet. So that's why when I was putting the clips together, man, I didn't even go into the Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones fight. I didn't show no footage of that because I wanted to stay away from them two's career to Part 3. So while I was speeding up the audio trying to wrap things up, I said that Hopkins fought Mercado a few months after Roy Jones vacated. Well, actually, yeah, he did fight him, but the first fight was a draw. Like I said, I was trying to speed it up. The first fight was a draw, okay? So I made a mistake there, and I'll talk about it some more in Part 3. But once again, Scorpio, he pointed this out. And that's why I'm blessed to have people like Scorpio come to my page, because I'm just freestyling this shit. So I'm going to make a couple of mistakes. And guys like Scorpio, I appreciate you for coming in and letting me know where I made a mistake at. Anyways, I got some more historical videos in the works, which I'm going to be sticking to. I do also have the Super Middleweight Truth coming out. That's going to be a good video because while I'm telling you about the Bernard Hopkins legacy, I'm telling you about a lot of other fighters and them moving up to Super Middleweight. So I know many of you are wondering what happened, and I remember it firsthand as a boxing fan, as an extreme hardcore fan at that time, like more extreme then than I am today even. And I didn't even have access to the knowledge that's out there today because I didn't have the advantage of the internet. If I had the advantage of the internet since I was 20 years old, I'd probably be a whole different guy today because I love reading and stuff. I would read books, all kind of shit. So I love to read and learn, and I love history and things like that. So I'm here to let y'all know, though, that I know what I'm talking about I was a hardcore fan back then. So I'm going to tell y'all exactly how it went down with these middleweights that moved up to super middleweight. Because there's some shit y'all need to know. And I'm the man to tell it to you. I also got Black Murderers Row coming out with 78 Sports TV. So be on the lookout for that too. Because that's going to be fire right there.